Welcome to the Daily Dose with the Calgary Zoo. I'm Natasha Lloyd, one of the Conservation Research Managers, and today I want to talk about our conservation work with the Vancouver Island marmots. Now, if you haven't heard of a Vancouver Island marmot before, they're a large rodent in the squirrel family, and they're about the size of, say, a really fat cat. Marmots are social species, and they live together in their family groups. They have special alarm calls or vocalizations that they use to warn each other of danger. They also have a very sweet kiss greeting that they use when they're approaching their family members. They live in burrows that they dig in the ground, and they hibernate in these burrows with their families for over 200 days of the year. Can you imagine? Now, Vancouver Island marmots are endemic to Canada. That means that they are found nowhere else in the world. The only place they live is up on mountaintops on Vancouver Island. Currently, they are considered critically endangered. This is because in the early 2000s, there was less than 30 marmots in the wild in the world. Today, the main threats to marmots are predation levels. With altered landscapes from humans, predators can more easily find and prey upon marmots. Climate change is another concern for this mountain species. The conservation work that we do with Vancouver Island marmots at the Calgary Zoo is threefold. First, we've been breeding these marmots for release into the wild for over 2 decades now. And while they're under our care, we observe them to see if they are showing natural wild behaviors, like identifying predators and being able to hide from them. Second, we've been working with the Marmot Recovery Foundation on a new release technique, which we call the stepping stone approach. This is where marmots that we breed at the zoo get released at a site temporarily, which is relatively safe for them. This helps to ease these marmots into life in the wild. But for the recovery of the species, we want to have a lot of marmot populations on a lot of different mountains. And so after the stepping stone marmots have had a year to learn how to live in the wild, we move them to another location, to another mountain where they will live more permanently, and we hope that they will establish colonies and grow in numbers. By using this technique, we found that the stepping stone marmots have survived nearly 3 times better when we give them that year to learn. And our third conservation action is at these more permanent sites, we help to monitor and to test that if we give some marmot groups some additional or supplemental food during critical times of the year, can this help them reproduce more and make more marmot babies, which will help the species recover.
My name is Chris. I'm one of the zookeeper assistants here at the Devonian Wildlife Conservation Center. Here we have 8 pairs of Vancouver Island marmots for our breeding program, which we also participate with the Toronto Zoo and the Vancouver Island Marmot Recovery Program on Vancouver Island. So right around now is when the marmots are starting to wake up from their hibernation. So they hibernate all the way from October right until the end of March and April. During their hibernation, they are very out of it. It's like they're asleep. They're very cold and they don't move around a whole lot. So that gives us the opportunity to do checks once a month. So we try to disturb them as less as possible, but we want to make sure that they're being healthy during their hibernation, not losing too much weight. So once a month, we'll check their little nest box in their enclosure and see, like, if they're a little bit awake, then we'll leave them alone. But if they're pretty much asleep, it gives us the opportunity to take them out of their nest box, do a weight check, make sure that their body condition is good, and it gives us a really good hands-on opportunity to look at our marmots.
With all these different actions by many different partners, this species now has over 200 marmots in the wild, up from 30, which is pretty remarkable and shows that our conservation actions are making a difference. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting wildlife conservation.